What's up, everybody? It's your boy TGK. Today, we're going to react to all of the sudden Nico Harrison apologists from ESPN and many more. Suddenly, Nico Harrison has a whole defense team. Suddenly, he's the scapegoat. Suddenly, Nico Harrison did not make the Luka Dončić trade. Anyway, man, it's your boy TGK. If y'all don't mind liking, subscribing if y'all enjoy this kind of content. And enough of the fluff. Let's go ahead and let's get to this. So suddenly, man, I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know if Nico Harrison put a memo out there for all of the big media channels and YouTube channels to suddenly start defending him. It's been mind-boggling. But we're going to react to all of this stuff. It's a reaction video for a reason. Again, I appreciate everybody being here, man. But again, like I said, enough of the fluff. Let's get to the stuff. All right, so we're going to, I think this is the ESPN one. Yes, it is. This is ESPN Reacts. I feel bad by playing this because I already know it'll get demonetized. So how about we'll go in the direction of going over here. And we're going to just turn on the audio and we'll listen to the audio together. I don't know what the hell this is. Let's go. Fast forward. Here we go. Here we go. It is now going to begin.
Shaq, how you're looking at that Nico Harrison situation? Did it have to happen?
Man, listen, it's part of the business. When you're in a powerful position, sometimes you become what's known as the scapegoat when things don't go well. You know, he's done a lot of things there, but he will always be remembered for trading Luka Dončić. Like, I remember how amazed we was when we found out he got traded. And listen, you know, he kind of got his marbles back when he drafted Cooper, but they're not playing well right now. So, you know, ownership is going to look down and say it's the general manager's fault. General manager's going to look down and say it's the coach's fault. Coach is going to say it's the player's fault. But my point is, when you're in that position, this is what happens in this business.
And it's certainly not the team, Kenny, that he envisioned putting on the floor. You got Cooper Flag, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, and no Davis. He's been hurt. Kyrie, of course, still out.
Well, you know, the whispers had been there for Nico. The whispers, when you trade, obviously, not only a franchise player, but a generational type talent.
And,
you know,
and more than just whispers.
Basically, eventually, Charles Barkley is the one that caused him the scapegoat. So how about we just skip to Charles Barkley and hear his take?
Happening at the same time. If the Mavericks come back, Chuck, and all of a sudden Kyrie comes back and Anthony Davis, they could still be a Western Conference finalist in the end of the season, and then what would we say? So we don't even know if this was a good trade based on the Dallas side. We know it was for the Lakers, but we don't know it for the Dallas side.
Just hearing that in general, the fact that people are still going with that, it's like, dog, like it just lets you know that obviously they don't have enough time to pay attention to everything that's going on. Hell, for example, right now, Chuck Cooperstein, radio voice of the Dallas Mavericks, is over here complaining and calling the Dallas Mavericks fans classless for the timing of whenever we did the fire Nico chance. Like you got people not understanding how the fans felt, and that becomes so aggravating when you hear people that have the bigger voices, and your voice, right, our voice, the fans, is not as big. It doesn't have that as big of a reach. But whenever they say these things, and it's supposed to be like, you know, that's fact. Like they're the gospel, right? It is annoying. But here goes Charles Barkley spewing his bullshit.
Well, first of all, Nico's a friend of mine, so obviously I'm biased. Nico got screwed 100% because
there you have it. There you have it. Do I even need to play the rest? He already clearly said he's biased. Nico got screwed 100%. Let's go ahead and hear this out.
if you go back and look at this thing, the trades he made 3 years ago is the reason the Mavericks made it to the finals.
With P.J. Washington, Daniel Gafford, he drafts Lively, brings Kyrie in.
The Mavs were a mediocre team until he made those trades. He was doing a good job. Then he had the bad luck.
Let's not gloss over the fact that he wanted Kyle Kuzma. You weren't going to get Daniel Gafford if you did the Kyle Kuzma deal. And if you did that deal, the Mavericks probably wouldn't have made the finals, but you can't gloss over that wasn't his first choice. That PJ and Gafford was his first choice. They weren't. They were secondary options for him. And yeah, they were good deals in the moment to pair with Luka. But the moment you traded Luka, those deals became horrible because you have draft picks that are going to the Oklahoma City Thunder, that are going to the Charlotte Hornets. And now you're left without the asset that you traded all these picks to build around for. And now you don't have that asset. And now you also don't even have the picks. Like it is the stupidest stuff now. Like those trades in retrospect are now really bad trades.
With Anthony Davis never being available, basically. But the thing that bothers me is he's just being made a scapegoat. Listen, Shaq knows this, Kenny knows this. There's no way in the world Nico Harrison had the power to trade Luka Dončić unless the owner of the team signed off.
Patrick Dumont.
Yes, that was his call. So I feel bad the way Nico is being made a scapegoat, but anybody who knows anything about basketball know good and well Nico Harrison did not have enough power to trade Luka Dončić. So that's the thing that bothers me. He's had a streak.
It is crazy. And the crazy thing about this is to insinuate that Patrick Dumont's the one that came up with the deal. And I know there's conspiracy theories saying that is the case or that wasn't the case. And I understand the conspiracy theories and why they're being had. I think you have to understand from the perspective that Patrick Dumont does not know basketball. And I think because Nico Harrison was promoted to have that became the president of basketball operations on top of being a GM, he 100% had the power to make the Luka Dončić trade. And yes, Patrick had to agree and sign off on that deal, but Patrick would have never had that idea. He trusted Nico Harrison at that time, and you could clearly have common sense and put these things together to show that, all right, Patrick's in a situation that he doesn't know enough about this sport and was taking advantage of someone that brought this idea to him that would help him win a championship. You could clearly put those things together, or you could go the conspiracy route. But one thing's for certain is that Nico Harrison 100% has said that this was his idea, that this was his deal, even through background conversations with other people, that this was his idea. Fortune favors the bold. Defense wins championships. This was his idea 100%. Because from a business perspective, why would Patrick want to trade Luka Dončić unless someone was able to guarantee him that you could win a championship right now by doing it? And again, that maybe Patrick is very gullible. And we could go on about the ownership group, and yes, they're despicable as well. But from the perspective of keeping it just basketball only, I can definitely see how a Nico Harrison could take advantage of someone that is so gullible like a Patrick Dumont. Let's go on. Let's continue hearing what Mr. Chuck had to say.
Bad luck with Anthony Davis and Kyrie both getting hurt. But the premise of this trade is Nico Harrison. I hear all these fools and idiots on TV talk, Nico Harrison going to be the guy who traded Luka Dončić. No, the Dallas Maverick organization made that call.
But you said
Can we see the Dumont statement by the?
All right, I'm good. We don't have to see the statement, but let's go ahead. Now I can show you footage of these other ones. So the other one here, this one is, let's go with Shannon Sharp, man. This is from Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp rips the Mavericks, apparently. This is the title of his video. It says, Shannon Sharp rips Mavs for firing Nico Harrison after the Luka trade nightmare. So let's go and let's check this out. Let's see what the hell he says.
Hello, it's your favorite sports thunk here. In large part to the team's 3-7 record, and that might have general manager Nico Harrison on the hot seat. According to NBA reporter Mark Stein, with the Mavericks already in a significant hole when it comes to simply reaching the playoffs, league sources tell me that the rising and virtuous ceaseless negativity that surrounds the franchise is indeed wearing on the troubling ownership. If Dumont eventually concludes that a midstream change is the best course, it's believed that he would be taken not only for his vibe shift potential and as means to try to win back alienated fans, but also based on the premise that the front office executive who concede the push that widely criticized Luka deal can no longer be the one trying to pilot the organization past it. Now we blame Nico. Everybody knows. Ain't no general manager going to ownership. Yes.
I came from
Yes.
up top. Why they trying to? He took the fall for it.
Thank you.
He's the face of it. He know that was their call. How come he can't come out and say nothing?
Nah, the same reason Roger Goodell don't say anything with them owners when he take all the blame. He get booed every draft, doesn't he, Ocho? He ain't made not one ruling that them owners hadn't been behind.
Here's the thing. It's assuming they're correct without proof, right? It's assuming they're correct without proof that Nico is the fall guy. Nico is not the fall guy. Nico is not the scapegoat. Nico is the one that came up with this idea. He's the one that believed it. Ladies and gentlemen, Nico Harrison is also the guy that believed Drew Holiday was better than Nikola Jokic. It's him. It is literally him. Nico Harrison. He's not a scapegoat. Like, it baffles my mind that individuals like Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco, they're only going to go off of this theory that GMs don't make trades, not knowing that the specific unique situation that the Dallas Mavericks were in with the new ownership and Patrick Dumont, not knowing that Patrick Dumont's pretty much gullible and not knowing what the hell the sport is, and they failed to provide the context, and they are just assuming and then putting this thought frame into like the masses that Nico's a scapegoat. Oh, Nico suddenly is a good guy after he traded Luka Dončić and put out all these negative reports, all these what was the word I'm looking for? All basically just trying to set up Luka and making him look bad. I'm just blown away sometimes, man. I'm blown away. Smear campaign. That's the word I was looking for. Nico Harrison was part of all these smear campaigns against Luka Dončić because they were scared to talk to him, because they were scared to have a professional conversation with him. Let's continue.
Yeah, but it's getting ridiculous. Now reports coming out, and when reports like this come out, those reports are coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, where there's fire, there's smoke. But obviously, we know who creates the goddamn smoke.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Oh, well, I said it backwards.
Because obviously, if there's
bad.
Fire, there's going to be smoke. But so obviously, when there's smoke, there's fire.
Right.
Yeah,
my bad.
We get it. We know what you meant. We know what you meant, Ocho.
Hey, yeah. Hey, you know, hey, listen, I be talking 100 miles an hour, so I be trying to get it out. But come on, if I was Nico, man, I'd be like, man, listen, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. This is something I didn't want to do. This was what y'all wanted to do. I was the face of it. I took it all in, and now the fact that fans are upset. Nothing is working out right now. We're losing as a team. Luka over there cutting up.
The fool. He dropped 36 tonight against Charlotte.
Hey, he acting a fool, and now y'all want to talk about firing me? Nah, F that. It was
If this was even remotely true, Nico Harrison would have been far, far more remorseful towards the Dallas Mavericks fan base. Far more remorseful. If this was remotely true, Nico Harrison would have done his damnedest to improve the relations with the fan base. Nico Harrison and the organization wouldn't have gone as far as to kick people out. Whenever this Luka trade happened, fans out of the arena, they were kicking fans out of the arena. They were silencing fans. On top of that, remember when Nico Harrison had a private behind the door kind of meeting with the team? And didn't allow, with the reporters, and didn't allow reporters to be able to record this quote unquote secret press conference. Like, they unfortunately, these guys have so much to cover that they are so unaware of the details and the context of everything that has happened and led up to this moment. The Mavericks fans suddenly didn't get upset. We've been on 10 since the moment this trade happened. And again, this was Nico Harrison's idea 100%, because I guarantee you, and this is the idea that I have, if I am someone that has pride in the work I do, and I know I was an amazing employee for Nike and was up there highly ranked and made all this money, right? And then I go to be a GM. I think Nico Harrison is well off regardless. Why would I ever risk my reputation for being a fall guy? I would think in that situation, if the ownership group brought that trade to me, I would have said, hell no. I would resign before I even make that deal and ruin my potential or ruin my reputation. But I guess for him, morals really don't matter, and he took the fall if that was true. But unfortunately for Chad and for Shannon and everybody else that you're about to see, it is not true. Nico Harrison, 100%, came up with this deal, thought of this deal, kept the deal secret, and made the deal as worse as possible for the Dallas Mavericks. He didn't make this deal where everyone could bid on it. If that was the case, why would he only go directly to the Lakers? If the idea from the up top was to trade Luka Dončić, why would you do the deal the way you did it? Why are these guys omitting that fact right there? Because either they're just being spoon-fed information as to what they want to believe, or they want to create the narrative as to what they believe happened. And maybe they're cool with Nico and they want to protect them in some form or fashion. But ladies and gentlemen, Nico Harrison is not the scapegoat, not the fall guy. He was the guy that traded the guy from Dallas.
It was your call. It was your call. And hey, I blame everything on management. I'll tell the truth and I'll drop the mic and resign. Y'all want to keep all this playing around with my integrity and my character. Like this was my call and what I wanted to do. A generational talent. You let a generational, not just know anybody.
Yeah, he transcended.
A franchise-altering player.
Luka, you talk about a guy that's a five-time first-team All-NBA selection, All-Star every single year, Rookie of the Year. The problem that you have is that the Lakers are off to such a great start. Luka is doing what Luka does, and you're off to a bad start. Kyrie's not there. Anthony Davis not there. So your team is really not. I mean, what Nico is saying, let's judge me on when we're healthy. We get this team assembled. You still need need a point guard. Cool.
Again. Shannon and Chad, y'all are omitting the fact that you don't know what you're talking about. The city and the fans of the Dallas Mavericks were chanting "Fire Nico." The vibes, the atmosphere were in the dumps. Yes, because of a poor start, and yes, because of the stench that was Nico Harrison that caused the poor start. If it wasn't for Nico putting all of his marbles in one basket, on several baskets, into players that are injury prone and trading the Luka Dončić, right? If he didn't do that, the Mavs would have been able to deal with a 3-7 start, knowing that they have their superstar here and knowing that there's injuries and they could deal with that. Mavs fans could deal with a 3-7 start if they know what the journey is, if they know where we're at and moving forward. This fan base is passionate like no other. Obviously, we've proven that. The thing is, they are omitting the facts that if you have a fan base revolting against the GM from a business perspective and your sellout streak ended, the Mavericks had a sellout streak since 2001, and it finally ended in October 29th. If I am seeing that, and I'm seeing the fans revolting against the GM, why, from a business perspective, would I allow that to continue knowing we are going to continue losing? Why would I allow that to continue and make it worse for my players that are playing in the game? Why would I allow the distraction to live and continue distracting? These individuals, Shannon, ESPN, the other people you're about to see, they are not in tune with what's going on in here, and therefore they're coming up with such shit takes, shit perspectives, horrible analysis, and we're supposed to believe that they are the gospel because they have the pull. Anyway, I had enough of this one. Let's go ahead and let's listen to this next one. This is Run It Back on FanDuel TV. Let's go ahead and let's see what the hell they're talking about. Let's try to find a good clip here.
We need to be here though, because we got to kind of continue where we left off yesterday, because since we got off the air yesterday and the Nico Harrison firing became official, the owner Patrick Dumont also put out a letter yesterday explaining why he decided to, which is
I heard
me Boogie, because I don't know, you might as well have apologized. No, could he have?
I don't like it. it's almost trying to find a way to, make yourself the hero in a really ugly situation or a really ugly breakup.
Again, another individual not knowing the situation that is at hand. And it's just it's just crazy work, dog. It's crazy work in the things that they're trying to create. Suddenly, Patrick Dumont wants to be a hero. Nobody in Dallas believes he's a fucking hero whatsoever. He's not getting brownie points because of that. We're happy he fired Nico, but it doesn't change anything.
Obviously, it's been well noted that this was a Nico decision, but also Nico has a boss to answer to, which is, which is this guy. And in this situation, obviously Nico's taking all the heat, but somebody had to sign off on this, and that's this owner. So we're fully aware.
We're fully aware, y'all, that that Nico Harrison and the owner had to agree to this. We're fully aware of that. We're fully aware. Can we fire the owner? No. Can we fire Nico? Yes. Simple, right? Common sense. Let's continue.
I feel like this is kind of a situation where trying to make yourself the hero in the midst of chaos, and I'm just not really feeling it. Take the accountability. It was a bad decision with everybody involved. Now just start trying to move forward. That's all you can really do at this point.
Is not firing the person that brought the idea to you and the person that is pissing off the fans and firing the person that the fans want fired, not taking accountability. Actually, Patrick Dumont, he deserves some kudos for that. He's actually taking accountability. Boogie, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
But I can see through the BS.
Yeah, and all in all, this has really come down to the fan base, right? Like, it's cause and effect. You trade Luka and you bring in AD, and as an owner, as a GM, you feel like, hey, we're bringing in a champion. We're bringing in a guy that you know what kind of caliber player that he is, but you didn't realize how much the fan base admired and adored and supported Luka when you make this move. And then you get all of this blowback. You get negative blowback, and then that carries into a bad season where you underperform, into a summer where this is still a distraction, into the next season where it's as equally a distraction. And now we're still dealing with it, and now you're in a position where we got to clean this back up. 24 years of sellouts, now you're messing with the pot. Now you're messing with the money, right? Now you're messing with the churches.
Hey, he's sounding very logical. About time we got someone, right? Let's see where he goes, though. Let's see where he takes this.
Money. And so obviously, when that starts to be affected, you got to clean up some of these things. And so I understand where the owner is coming from. You have a fan base that's been loyal. They've obviously been supportive in 24 years of ups and downs and championship runs and talent and different things of that nature. And then you have that run come to an end, and you're still dealing with criticism from the outside. You're still dealing with fire Nico chants. You're still dealing with a fan base that's disgruntled and unhappy. Something needed to be done. And so, you fire Nico, and then you bring out a letter to the fans, and you fall short of apologizing. No, finish the deal.
Right, might as well.
Yeah, finish the deal. Apologize to the fans and say, you know what? We flubbed this one.
Yeah.
And we can move on, and we can build back again together as an organization, as a state, and as a city, and as a fan base. And I think that was important for him to do that. But I also think it was important don't write us a letter. Stand in the front line like everybody else. Stand in the front line like Nico had to stand in the front line.
Absolutely.
Go stand on stage like Jason Kidd had to stay on stage. Listen, go out there. If you're you're the boss, you're in charge, and you're writing a letter to the fans, put your face out there as well. So the letter is a step. I still feel like they could have did a little bit more, but all in all, this is the start of a healing process for the Dallas Mavericks.
I just don't understand.
Great perspective. I appreciate it. I even fully agree. I think he should have done a press conference. I fully agree. I think he should have said, "We are sorry." I think that would have gone even further, and I appreciate Lou's perspective on that. That was actually very, very good there.
How this is where he can kind of avoid the situation of accountability. At the end of the day, you own this team, you write the checks, you have the final say-so. So now when you see the reaction, all of a sudden it's almost like it's giving like, I never really wanted to do this. This was all Nico's fault.
Yeah, it does. Well,
Like, you're the
also,
owner of this team.
I
You
agree.
write the checks. Like, at the end of the day, we can sit here and say the GM made the decisions. The GM has somebody to answer to. So I just can't sit here and ignore or act like he didn't have or play a part in this decision. This is like trying to put a Band-Aid over a gunshot wound.
Well, you don't want to.
Oh my God, brother. All right, let's go. Let's get to this next clip and let's talk about this. All right, so this right here is from All the Smoke podcast, I believe. I saw this clip. Boy, did I get annoyed at this. It is Gilbert Arenas and Matt Barnes. Let's go ahead and let's check it out.
Excuses that we ran with came from him. It didn't come from Nico. It came from the owner, right? You know, oh, he's fat, he's out of shape, he's this, he's that. And what y'all think was going to happen when he got skinny?
We're gonna take a look at the timeline, but I said from the beginning, and correct me if I'm wrong, we've been in this game long enough. A GM cannot trade a franchise player.
Cannot.
Absolutely cannot trade a franchise player.
No.
I've been saying Nico was going to be the scapegoat, and it's almost like, and we're not sure, we're just speculating, but he can't even really come out and speak on it either because it could discredit him moving. You know, he just has to take this shit on the chin.
Oh, yeah. You got paid. This is what you got paid to do.
Remember, he got an extension going into the final when the team was going into the finals.
Your ass get paid to sit in that stand while they yell.
And death threats and all kinds of shit.
You got to sit there with that stressful look on his face.
But so the Matt Barnes thought when Patrick Dumont did come out and say the things he said about Luka Dončić, ain't nobody absolving Patrick Dumont of anything. He's just as much an idiot in all of this. But he's a gullible idiot because he doesn't know enough about basketball. The man, when talked about what work ethic is, referenced Shaquille O'Neal and not Dirk. That proves that whole purpose and idea that, or the whole perspective and idea that this man didn't even know enough about the Dallas Mavericks or doesn't even know enough about basketball. And I fully believe that the information he was fed and what he said fully came from Nico Harrison because Mamba mentality, right? You got to have Mamba mentality type players. This is the context that is required when talking about this because these individuals here, right? Matt Barnes and Gilbert, they have these big audiences. You start painting the Mavericks fans in the city of Dallas in this negative light as if we're the bad guys because we wanted Nico fired. Hell, if we could fire Patrick Dumont, we would. If we could fire Jason Kidd, we would. If we could clean house and leave Gina Miller in charge and bring Dirk back and give Dirk ownership of the team, we would. But we can't. But there's one thing that we could completely complain about because it is the right thing to do for us as the fan base to move forward, and that is firing Nico Harrison. It's what it is. I'm sorry if you feel he's a scapegoat. Well, then maybe he shouldn't have brought up the damn trade idea to begin with. You're not a scapegoat when you brought up the damn idea in the first place and manipulated, took advantage of a gullible owner, and now we're having to sit with these results. And your vision, Nico, vision was not 2020. It was just garbage. All right, let's continue.
Because that's what your job is. Your job is
forward facing.
If I make a bad decision,
you take it.
You take it.
Right.
I disagree. I think with someone with Nico's pedigree, because of the connections that he has so many connections with so many players. Why would you risk that? Why would you risk that if someone else told you to do it? That wasn't a risk someone told him to do. He, with his own conviction, took that freaking risk and fully believed it. Because if I just tend to feel if someone has the amount of pedigree that he had, he wouldn't have risked his reputation. His reputation is dog shit now.
Right? And, that's just the way the game goes. But, that guy still got you to the finals, right? You made a trade. You got AD. You re-signed Kyrie. You got the number 1 pick. So you're going to blame AD being fat on him, right? If you look at AD right now, look like he gained a lot of weight. Is that his fault too? Like the record 3-8 because you don't have your best players, that's his fault too?
I think wasn't the reason Luka got traded was because he was out of shape? Yes, that's his fault too because Nico did not know how to have a hard conversation with a player to get him locked back into the whole conditioning perspective. Yes, as part of leadership, it is your job to get the best out of your employees, quote unquote, your players. Yes, it is your fault. The fact that you were scared and unable to speak to Luka Dončić and get Luka Dončić in the shape that he's currently in, that is 100% your fault. Yes. Anthony Davis, Nico Harrison delayed Anthony Davis's eye surgery. Nico Harrison was trying to push Anthony Davis to return early from an Achilles issue. Potentially could have caused the Achilles rupture. This is who Nico Harrison is. He is a narcissist. If you do not look into all the tea leaves, he is a narcissist, ladies and gentlemen. Look at everything that has gone on in this franchise over the last 3 to 4 years, and you will see everything. It is he who caused all of this, and it is he who is at fault for all of this.
Like, it just is.
Well, I mean, my question to you, and I think we know the answer. I mean, if you have a healthy Dallas team, Nico still has a job.
Of course.
There's no question about it.
That's why I said you can't blame the circumstances. Like, you guys made this trade. Cooper Flag, AD, Kyrie's there. That is a championship contender team. So what he did was great. I mean, it was great for us, LA. We, we not mad at Nico. Right. I mean, shit, he can have a job here. Well, we better hire him.
Someone told me they're building a Nico.
See, then it's funny. Then it's all fun and games, right? It's all fun and games after that. Want to check out this clip from Kirk Henderson. He was talking about Nico Harrison is not a scapegoat. Definitely Nico Harrison. Kirk Henderson has a unique way of putting words together, probably way better than me. So I definitely want to check it out and hear this and hear his perspective here. Let's check it out.
Nico Harrison is not a fucking scapegoat. And if that's what you think, like Charles Barkley here, then you're an idiot.
But the thing that bothers me is he's just being made a scapegoat. Listen, Shaq knows this, Kenny knows this. There's no way in the world Nico Harrison had the power to trade Luka Dončić unless the owner of the team signed
Dumont.
Yes.
It's Doncic.
That was his call.
Of course Patrick Dumont played a part. Of course he had to sign off on it. But that doesn't mean Nico Harrison is a scapegoat. It was Nico Harrison's idea. You don't get to say that Harrison's a genius for all the moves that he made before, but the Luka one, he's absolved of that responsibility because the owner signed off on it. The owner signs off on all the moves. What the fuck are we talking about? The push to say that it's not Nico's fault, that people are just being mean to him, is ridiculous. He's the one that made all these choices, and he said it with his chest early and often that he didn't believe in Luka Dončić, and look where that got him. And while we're here, saying that the team didn't get a fair shake because of injuries is ridiculous. When you trade for and sign players who have an injury history, you can't act surprised when they get injured. The infantilizing of Nico Harrison is driving me crazy. He's the general manager. He's the one that built the team. He's the one that built a team without shooting and without enough ball handling. What did people think was going to happen? And let's remember, he's proud of himself.
Well, one, I think I've done a really good job here.
And all of this is with Cooper Flag. Imagine this team without Cooper Flag. Nico Harrison is no scapegoat. He's the main author of this Dallas disaster, and he gets to wear that for the rest of his life.
Woo! Damn, son, where'd you find this? All right, man. So that is all I got for today from all the clips I was able to find in the limited time I had today. Let me know what you think. Do you think Nico Harrison is a scapegoat after all it has been said? And why are people suddenly defending him? Why suddenly is he being defended? My mind is blown, y'all. My mind is blown away, bro. This is just the funniest thing in the world, man. But salute to Kirk Henderson. Salute to all of y'all. Salute to everybody, man. Like the stream, like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. It's been your boy TGK, and I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. We out.